there's a hairstylist that gave a revenge haircut to an 11-year-old after her mother refused to pay the $25 late fee.
My daughter said, well, your grace period states that I'm late after 10 minutes. I was here at 5:10.
So the pair refused to pay the extra fee, and they began arguing back and forth.
You can see her pick the scissors up, and she just, as if to proceed to cut my granddaughter's style out. But my daughter had already paid for that style. She was inquiring about the $25 late fee.
The video shows the mom trying to stop the stylist from taking back the braids, injuring herself in the process.
And what they told me was that there was no intent, that she wasn't trying to cut my daughter's hand. My issue is once she picked the scissors up, she became a threat.
There's a lot going on here.
We do have our official attorney, Lisa Lanier, joining us. Good morning, Lisa. Please break this down for us.
Hey, good morning.
And
I think the cops got it wrong here. They refused to press charges because they said that there was no intent. But under Louisiana law, where this happened, their assault and battery laws, like all other states, pretty much. When the perpetrator, the actor, puts the victim in a reasonable apprehension of harmful or offensive contact, then that is an assault. And when they actually carry it out and lay hands or whatever on them and actually begin to make the unwanted contact, then that becomes a battery. And under Louisiana law, it's a misdemeanor if it's without a weapon, but it's a felony if it includes a weapon. And scissors can absolutely be a weapon.
Yes.
And so, if you watch the video, I just posted the video on my Instagram and Facebook for Lanier Law Group because I think if you watch it, you see that, they are struggling over this child's hair.
Mm-hmm.
And, it looks like she's intentionally trying to cut the braids off. And, I have no clue why, except that, sometimes police will just be like, this is a personal thing, like we're not getting involved in this. And, sometimes they'll do that with like roommates that are bickering or even people that are involved, boyfriend, girlfriend, if it's not violent, or if it's boiled over, and it's kind of stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they will break it up, but they won't press charges. That's the only thing I can figure is that they thought, these ladies all know each other, and this is all just kind of a little squabble, and we're not getting mixed up in it.
Yeah, but let me ask you, Lisa, real quick, because this is important here. So I see two things here. One, I see the revenge haircut, and if a barber or hairdresser is purposely giving you a bad haircut, maybe that's not criminal. But can you sue or can you win in court for civilly because the intention was to give the person a bad haircut? That's the first thing. Then the second thing is the weapon aspect.
Yeah. So here she wasn't just trying to give her a bad haircut. She was trying to cut off her hair, cut off the haircut she had just put in. If you're sitting there and like a hairdresser is upset with you because they found out, you're cheating with their partner or something, and they, you don't know that they know, and they're just intentionally going to botch.
Yes.
Then that technically, is that a harmful or offensive contact? Well, the problem is, you consented to them cutting your hair. And so that one's going to be harder to prove, even though they intentionally did a bad job. Now, you could probably sue them under sort of a common law kind of a contract in small claims, but it wouldn't be worth a whole lot. And that's one of those things where people would sort of be like, we're not getting involved in that, kind of like here.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm asking is women are insane when it comes to their hair and they get a bad haircut. Seriously.
Yes.
Like with me, if I get a bad haircut, I'm like, I'll just shave it off. But women are depressed for like weeks with a bad haircut.
Oh yeah. That would be a really wicked way to get back at somebody if you're a hairdresser and you're mad at somebody. But here it's just, I think it's next level, and this has happened in other instances and that have been in the news where hairdressers have, you didn't pay or you refused to pay or something, and they come after you with scissors, or they're, mad at you for some reason, they come after you with scissors, and they've been charged. So here, it was just, I think it was a miss that they didn't charge her. Now, I think she told them that, look, I'm a hairdresser, I hold scissors, right? And we were, but it's clear that that's not true, because there is a surveillance video that is kind of shot from right above them, and the little girl, her mother, who was pregnant at the time, gets in between, and tries to break it up and tries to stop her from cutting the little girl's hair. And they said she was injured in the process, which is another, kind of takes it to another level.
Yeah.
And so, they could make a claim potentially for a civil assault and battery if they wanted to against the hairdresser. But the cops have said, look, we're not charging, which is surprising to me.
Because that is a weapon.
It is a weapon.
Think she had intent. Yeah. And I think she had intent.
Yes, I do too. And you can see in the video that the hairdresser who had just spent all of that time putting the braids in, which by the way is not a fast or easy process. I mean, she was sitting there for quite a while. And
hours usually,
hours. And then when the mother said, well, I'm not paying your late fee because I think technically it said like if you're 10 minutes late, then you're going to, or 10 minutes or more, we're going to charge you $25, right?
That's a lot.
The mom is saying, it pushes back every appointment that you have and can screw your day. But the mother then says, well, I'm not paying the fee because I got here at 5:10. You said your policy is 10 minutes or more, or more than 10 minutes. But then when you see the hairdresser who just spent all that time doing her hair, then start to kind of like rip the braids out.
Oh my gosh.
She was moving that little girl's
and the
head
little
all
child
around.
is in pain. Yeah. I mean, from what I understand, new braids, I've never had braids, but from what I understand, new braids are painful in and of themselves because it's very tight at first. And so you don't want a lot of like motion or jerking it around. And here, this lady, she paid. So the mother she paid for the braids. Mm-hmm. She just shorted it the $25 for the late fee. And that's what enraged the stylist. And like you said she wasn't late. She said, I was right in here just in the nick of time.
Yeah.
It's interesting that, and I believe that someday the bar is going to be set because I think we can sue sometimes over emotional distress or somebody has caused. But, it seems like even more sometimes than a car accident that women, if they do have a bad haircut, they are, it's emotionally distressing depression. You would think at some point we're going to be able to sue hairdressers and win if it's on purpose.
But if it's on purpose, because you have, like Lisa was saying, you have given the consent.
That's the problem.
Which is why if you have ever in your life, and I've had a lot of bad haircuts growing up because I basically look like a boy my whole life.
Well, I don't think they give bowl haircuts as often.
It was called the Dorothy Hamill. It was the Dorothy
You have a revenge bowl. You had a revenge bowl.
It was all the rage. But how many times I have been sitting in that chair as a young person and thought, they'll say, do you like it? And you're like, yes. And you're inside, you're dying. You're just like, I look like a boy. But you won't say anything because you said I'll sit in your chair and you do what you want to my hair.
Yeah, and I'll see sometimes somebody like a girl will come up to me and they talk about they just got a haircut and I'm like, I can't even tell what you did. It's like a half an inch. Carol might be like this. It happens all the time. All of a sudden she'll go to the hairstylist and I'll see on the account it was expensive as hell. And I'll turn, I'm like, when did you get this? 2 days ago. You didn't notice. I'm like, I still don't notice. What did you pay for?
I know, nothing makes me
angrier. A tenth
angrier.
of an inch off the bottom of your hair?
Nothing makes me angry, well, besides the food thing, but like when my husband doesn't compliment food, is when you go and you spend all that time with your hairstylist and then you go home and nobody notices. You're like, I look extra beautiful today. Nobody noticed?
Yeah, I think it's hard to
guys just get their hair really cut. I mean, that's the big difference. I mean, they go, but you know what? Guys get upset. I do a lot of car accident work, and guys get upset over their car being wrecked, and they can be really hurt.
Yeah.
Like they can have a broken arm, they can have a broken leg, whatever, and all they can talk about is their Ford F-150 that was total loss, and they had, and I mean, and that's really. I'm like, what about your arm, or whatever. But I love that truck. I mean, that's their equivalent.
Yeah, we all have our own things.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, I would hate, especially me, to have a bad haircut. I would hate it. It's just I know that I'm okay with if I just had to shave most of it off and it's going to be growing back. So that's what I basically do.
Yours,
yeah. But women, I mean, that would be awful.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear, Lisa, that you said you thought that the cops got it wrong because that was my gut feeling was like there were a lot of things in that story that led to this is more than just, how you said maybe two roommates getting involved and that's why the cops didn't want to. This it was like she got cut on the hands. I did hear, did you hear that at the very end that I think maybe the mother or the grandmother did throw water all over the floor before they left or something?
Oh,
It's like, okay, now we're getting into the petty petty category.
It got downright trashy. It really did. Yeah, it was, and that's another thing cops don't like. They don't like to get up in that kind of stuff.
I wonder if the cops saw the surveillance video though first, because at that point it's just her word against her word, and she's holding scissors and she's a hairdresser. I wonder if this video came out after or something.
I don't know.
Probably so. Probably they probably didn't bother to stay, and I'm sure that the hairdresser wasn't like, "Hey, let me show you my surveillance video," because
Right.
it was pretty damning.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Lisa, very much. If you're ever injured on the job, hire a heavyweight. HireAheavyweight.com. Lisa Lanier.